Everyone, welcome to Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. As always, we're glad you could be with us, and we hope that today's devotional is an important part of your journey of faith. I'm going to be reading bits and pieces of Psalm 37 today as we continue our midweek devotions during Advent. So, a reading from portions of Psalm 37. Trust in the Lord and do good, so that you will live in the land and enjoy security. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord and trust in him, and he will act. He will make your vindication shine like the light and the justice of your cause like the noonday. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret for those who prosper in their way, over those who carry out evil devices. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. Better is the way of the righteous person has than the abundance of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. The Lord knows the days of the blameless, and the heritage will abide forever. They are not put to shame in evil times. In the times of famine they have abundance. For the Lord loves justice. He will not forsake his faithful ones. The righteous shall be kept safe forever, but the children of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land and live in it forever. Here ends our reading. You know, when I was younger, my grandfather once told me, people don't have good sense until they get old. And now that I'm getting older, I feel a good deal of wisdom in that observation that my grandfather made to me. See, in parts of the psalm, we encounter a portion of wisdom that is spun by the sage who is now grown old. And as a younger and more idealistic students of this sage, this ancient wisdom school most certainly needed the direction of its senior mentors. It is a question that we have to grapple with our whole lives. How is it that the wicked often seem to prosper? There could hardly be a more human response than the faith of still seeking understanding, to become frustrated, angry, and even wrathful in the face of such paradox. Yet the experiences of the sage offer, in these verses, a corrective to such a reactionary response. 3 times in these verses, the writer writes, "Do not fret." Indeed, the Hebrew verb is translated by the NRSV, goes further about cautioning against the emotion. The real danger lies in the state of being one that is intensely worked up or even consumed by this questioning and this anger, by the problem of the apparent prospering of the wicked that goes on in this world. The verb has this reflexive sense in it, in which the writer cautions the reader not to inflict self-harm by bringing it upon themselves and distracting them from the world. One of the problems with getting caught up in this being worked up and consumed is the impact on our relationship with God. While the psalmist condones and encourages any kind of questioning of faith when you're in dialogue with God, it's the state of self-consuming with the wicked that can lead us sometimes to mistrust God and even question the reality of God's power and dominion in the world. So it's no surprise that twice the sage tells the readers that we should trust in the Lord. Despite the evidence that we would seem to be contrary to God is in control of this world, and as a result, the prospering of evildoers continues to happen. The shunning perplexion and trusting God, however, does not mean that we as the faithful, that we sit by idly and do nothing. Verse 7 calls on believers to be still and wait patiently. And although this would seem like passive instructions for us to do nothing, close examination reveals the greater depth of meaning. The verse begins with not only be still or be silent, but be still for the Lord. The sense here is to stand in awe of God, speechless in the face of God's power and dominion. The implication here is that God is the one who is in control and doing something in the world. Otherwise, there would be no reason for us to stand in awe. Further, wait patiently does not do justice to the second Hebrew imperative in the verse. The verb would be better translated, wait longingly. The nuance adds a more dynamic component to the waiting, again, applying that God is at work now in the world. And since God is at work, believers are called to do something. First and foremost, as mentioned above, this means trusting God and knowing that God is at work in the world. As a result, the faithful are called to be good, to take delight in the Lord, to commit to the way of the Lord. If there is any kind of response on our part to this brief prospering of the wicked, then these three things would be it. And I know this is great for context and stuff, but it really comes down to the question of, what does this mean for us today? As people in the middle of a pandemic and celebrating Advent, how do we continue to prepare for the birth of Christ when we can get so distracted by what's changing in our lives from day to day? To be concise, we are to stay true to who and whose we are. As a result, light shines on to the deeds and the ways of the wicked, so that they may be clearly seen that they are, and fade and wither as the sage promises. See, it is not we who shine the light, excuse me, but it is God who will make our vindication. Shine like the light and the justice of your cause to the noonday. After being told to trust in the Lord and to do good, in verse 3 we hear, you will live in the land and enjoy security. What would appear to be proclamations followed by rewards also occur in verses 4, 5, and 9. In turning from God, the wicked will wither and fade, just as a turning from water and the body will dehydrate. Likewise, those who do good take delight in the world and expect the Lord to act, will see the Lord act, and will inherit the earth. These things are certainly true because God promises them to us, even when we strain to understand until we attain the sense that is brought by old age. I think my grandfather was right. Wisdom does seem to come to as we get older. And hopefully, as we continue to grow in our faith and get older in our faith, we can overcome these questions like, why does evil prosper? And why do good things happen? Or why do bad things happen to good people? But until then, we just continue to trust in God and know that God is out there working in the world to help us make this a better place. Well, that's this week, everybody. Again, I hope you can join us tonight for our Advent services at 7 o'clock right here. And until then, or until I come back and speak to you again, I hope that all goes well for you.